Hi guys, it's Daniel here again. I'm just about to do my brain training soon, and I just thought I'd make a quick video for you guys. A video for basically beginners who are looking to get into brain training. So I've had a lot of questions about this, like how do you get into brain training, like some tips for beginners. So to begin with, I kind of need to explain the part of the brain that you're training with this sort of training. So with quad NBAC, the part of your brain that you're training is the prefrontal cortex, which is basically the front part of your brain here. And that part of your brain is responsible for three key areas. It's responsible for your working memory and your higher level reasoning ability and your executive control. Those are the three areas that the prefrontal cortex controls. And those are the three areas that will benefit the most from this training. Now, in its nature, the training is basically just a working memory type of training. But because the prefrontal cortex controls those three areas, by improving your working memory, by enhancing your working memory, you enhance those other areas at the same time. And also because working memory is effectively the bottleneck to intelligence. That's why your intelligence will increase, not just your working memory. But the other thing that will increase from doing this training is your executive control. And that's kind of what I want to talk about in this video. Because I have noticed that a lot of beginners start training and then they quit it quite quickly. Basically, they give up on it. They aren't very consistent. And it seems like probably less than 1% of people who are subscribed to this channel, who watch these videos, less than 1% of people actually consistently do the brain training and actually see the results. Like most people just give up and don't really even bother with it after a week or two. And I've even noticed that with my friends as well. Like I've recommended this brain training to multiple of my friends. I think one guy did it for like 10 minutes and then quit and gave up forever. And one guy did it for a couple of weeks and then he quit and gave up forever. Like most people quit and give up. Most people aren't consistent with it. And I've actually come up with a bit of a theory why that might be the case. Not necessarily for my friends, because I think in general, it is just really hard and unpleasant training. Like it's not easy to force yourself to do it. But one of the benefits of the training is because it trains your whole prefrontal cortex. One of the benefits that you get from it is it enhances your executive control. Now, your executive control is basically your ability for your brain to control the rest of your brain, to control your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. Now, most people think they have full control over their brain and their actions and their thoughts already. That's simply not the case. Most of what we do is just on autopilot. We really don't have that much control over what we do. Most of what we do is default actions that any sort of animal would do in the same situation. It's only in a small percentage of situations and actions where we actually can decide and choose what we're going to do in that moment. Now, that's where executive control comes in, because if you can strengthen your executive control, you can control your mind to a greater degree. You can force your mind to do things that are unpleasant, that it doesn't want to do, but that will have a long-term benefit. And that's one of the benefits of the brain training. So it's actually one of the unique benefits of the training, because when you do the training, it will strengthen your executive control. And with a strengthened executive control, you'll be able to do more training, because the brain training is not enjoyable. It's hard to do. And like I said, most people quit and give up on it. But the more training you do, the stronger your executive control will become. And then the more you will be able to train. So it kind of feeds on itself. It's a positive feedback loop. So you can see that the more consistent you are, if you just stick with it, it will become easier and easier, because your executive control will become stronger and stronger. So your ability to force your brain to do this unpleasant training will become easier and easier as you do the training. Now, this is similar to most things in life. Like, of course, if you stick at it, it does become easier and easier, but this is really true for this type of brain training. And I think it's why most people quit, because it's hard to do in the beginning. It's not pleasant. It's very mentally taxing. But if you just stick it out and you get some small gains, some small improvement to your intelligence and to your executive control, then your ability to do more training in the future will become stronger and stronger. So what I actually think is the case, I think it's easier for people with a higher intelligence to do this sort of brain training, because people with a higher intelligence are more likely to already have a strong executive control. So then when they start the training, it's easier for them to do it consistently and to stick with it and to do it for a year or two and to really see the results. So it's easier for people who already have an IQ of say 120, 130 to really see results, because you've already got high executive control. And that was the case for me. I started at 136 IQ, and I think I had a quite strong executive control already. And that's why I was able to get to at least 149 IQ through this training. But I think some people who might start with say a 110 IQ, a 100 IQ, or maybe below, those sorts of people probably have a lower executive control. And I'm not saying this to shame them or anything like that. Of course, everyone starts at their own level, and you can improve your level. But if you're starting at that level, just know that it might be harder for you to start the training. You might be more inclined to quit the training just because your executive control is weaker. But you need to push through that. You need to get to the point where your executive control is getting stronger and stronger. And then, and only then, will you be consistent with the training, and then you can see the results in terms of increased intelligence. So for people with say a lower IQ, say 100 to 110, or even if you have a higher IQ but you just know that your executive control is weaker, for anyone who fits that category, what I recommend is starting with a lower amount of training. So the amount that I recommend is 60 minutes every second day to really see results from brain training. But if you think you will struggle with executive control, if you think you are more likely to quit the training, then really what you need to do is build the habit first and then work on getting the results. So what you need to do is start with a smaller amount of training and just get really consistent with that to build the habit. So I recommend doing, say, even just 5 minutes every second day. Do that consistently for 10 days, and then go to 10 minutes every second day. Do that consistently for 10 days, and build up slowly until you're doing 60 minutes every second day. If you can do that, then you can strengthen your executive control enough so that you won't quit the training, and then you can do it for a year or two and really see the results in terms of increasing your intelligence. So that's basically my tips for beginners in how to get into brain training and how to really stick with it. If you like this comment, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and make sure to leave a comment down below if you have any questions. Cheers, guys.